If you had seen my previous posts, you would know that I was playing music, and some of those artists are already deceased at this point, and they have already passed on from this world, which is sad, yes, but it's also crazy because I thought when I was younger that I'd had so much time and I thought this company would take off a lot quicker than it has, that I would get the chance to meet those people and those artists and thank them for their work and the art they created, which inspired me and got me through some really, really tough times in my life. Not only with the presentation, just in general in life. And the more I think about it, I've realized now I'll never get that chance. I'll never get to thank them. All I can do is keep playing their music. But yes, tragedies aside, let me move on. Because I want to talk about technology and the way it is heading. Because it feels like where we are in 2025 that there is now a race. And I'm not talking about a race of companies competing to be ahead or whatever. That's natural, that happens. Companies always do that. But the race I'm talking about is a race of technology and a new race or synthetic being that may emerge in the coming years. So what do I mean by a new race of synthetic being that will emerge? Well, it's a race, it's a competitive race, and there's going to be a new race. So it's a bit confusing, but right now, where we are researching technology, we are in a race. Well, the race is something I'm observing happening between whether we make a fully conscious AI that becomes almost a GI, it becomes like genuinely intelligent and it has emotions, feelings, it can solve problems, it can do all the things based on humans, or there's a race of transferring consciousness into a machine and that being a new body for a consciousness to inhabit. And that is the crazy part. That is the crazy thing that I'm witnessing happening. It's like, who's going to win the race? Which side is going to win the race? Are we going to create a completely synthetic being out of programming and numbers, and a fully conscious being at that, which is capable of maybe replicating and rebuilding another one and reproducing pretty much, albeit different to the way humans reproduce, but reproducing itself. And a new race of being is now emerged in our society. Or is it going to happen first where we transfer a consciousness into a machine that was human before and now is aware that now they are synthetic? So I am speaking about the possibility of two new races or two new kind of technically species emerging, where one is completely software and they are consciousness programmed by people, but that consciousness is capable of replicating itself and creating more versions, not of itself necessarily, but it can create new unique beings. And then there's the other side of the humans who had their consciousness transferred into a machine. So are they going to be two different races, or are they going to be very similar? Because they might have very similar characteristics. And both will most likely be based on a human anatomy. So which one do I think we are going to reach first? Is there going to be a fully created consciousness by human beings that inhabits a machine? And are we going to accomplish that first? Or are we going to be able to transfer consciousness into a machine first? Which one is going to be first? Why does any of this matter to me? Because pretty much In Your Head Productions has products for those beings already. It has applications and for those beings waiting that can only work with those kinds of beings as well. So yeah, but if you want my opinion, I think we are going to reach a completely synthetic being first. We are going to create a consciousness first before humans can transfer their. And it's like, no, but what kind of products could In Your Head Productions offer? And I'm like, okay, something so very small, like there, my bed is in the office. I've moved into work, and my bed, and you would think, oh, even when he's sleeping, like that doesn't count as a shift. And I'm like, it actually does, because there's things like dreams and stuff that happen in your head. But that aside, it was also where I had the idea of like, like a wireless charger that people have for their phones, like a wireless charger. Now I was thinking of my bed, I was thinking, what if you had like a big one where synthetic beings could actually also rest and recharge their power source via that method. So what I'm saying is basically these synthetic beings that are going to emerge, whatever we call this race, they're also going to need to recharge and have a power source and things like that. So they might actually do something like sleep, but not the way humans sleep where we just shut off completely. Just they shut down most systems and like they can stay conscious and like watch movies or play games or whatever in their mind while they are resting, lying down on this wireless charger. They're just using things that use a lot less power, so they can recharge their batteries to full, however many hours it takes, and then they go on about their day. So they might do something like sleep, but not the way humans do it. But who knows? Because maybe that would be obsolete after a while, because maybe they all become like Tony Stark and have like a huge reactor in their chest. Like, and this entire race has like a fusion, like pretty much a walking nuclear bomb, but it's all controlled and it's like, the technology has been perfected and they can operate for decades and decades without having to recharge or whatever. But even in that, the materials required are going to be extremely rare, and there might not be enough of that material even in the solar system for like trillions of them to exist or whatever. There might not be enough radioactive material because that stuff is expensive. So what I'm offering is a little bit obviously of a cheaper solution. But it's not just the bed, the rechargeable bed or whatever. There were also things like eyelids. I was thinking of eyelids being like TVs that they can watch or whatever, or maybe even within their own eyeballs as well. What we perceive as an eyeball as a human being, it's actually a lens and a camera and things that they have, which also leads to like different filters, and they can they can see the world in negative, and they can see the world in thermal, and they can see the world in all these different visions, and also the way we see it as well. So there will be a lot of products like that might also come from In Your Head Productions in the far future. I'm just laying this out now because I'm talking about it. So yeah.